Hello and welcome to the Beat Brings Us Together podcast, presented by myself, Luke Hassan. It's a show where I invite talented musical individuals to discuss their story as we dig deeper into their musical journey. We'll discover where it all began for them, where they are now, and where they look for the future.
So just a bit of news from myself. I've got 2 tunes coming out in October. The first one is Move It or Lose It, and that's coming out on the Overdose ADE sampler. And then not long after that, I've got my other tune, Mine Is Yours, coming out on Swerve Digital's ADE sampler. So it's going to be a busy month for releases, and I'll be giving out all the information on the podcast socials. So look forward to hearing those.
This week on the podcast, I was joined by Christy Lakeman of Café Artum. He talks all the joys and trials of running a record store, his early experiences of music, getting into DJing in his mum's conservatory, and selling his drum kit. It was a cracking podcast, all recorded at Café Artum as well, so make sure you go and check that on Corporation Street in Birmingham. And enjoy! Okay, welcome to the podcast. And this week we've got Christy Lakeman on, an extraordinary talented DJ. He also runs a record store / cafe / creative hub that is Café Artum, that's set on Corporation Street in Birmingham. I got it all out. Welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And we're actually in Café Artum recording this today.
We are indeed.
Which is a beautiful little cafe, and it's set in a beautiful little spot and a beautiful little building as well.
Yeah, the weather's a bit grim outside though, I've got to admit. We haven't had it on the best of days, but...
No, I got completely drenched today. Completely drenched, yeah.
It's like most people coming in, actually.
Yeah. Well, you're offering them a little warm, cosy coffee and a selection of records. Café Artum, Corporation Street. To get in the adverts.
Thanks for that plug. Appreciate that.
There we go.
And the extraordinary DJ bit as well. Appreciate that, man. I was pushing it a little bit, but thank you.
I've seen you perform. I've heard your mixes. I love it. So,
cheers, man.
There's nothing else.
I'll pay you. Pay it.
Yeah, that was a £10 well spent.
Cheers.
Well, welcome and thank you. Let's start off with the first question, as I'm gonna make you dig as far back as you can, and ask you what your first experience of music was in general. Your first experience.
God, it is casting back a bit. I'd say my first experiences of music, really, or the first experiences of music that's had any kind of notable influence on me, would be driving in the car with my mum around, I think, Cornwall and the countryside, and her playing neo soul and like Erykah Badu and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
wow.
then and then also a bit of cheese like Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell.
Nice.
You know, that's got to be thrown in there, of course. And then I guess moving on from that would be with my dad. He used to take me around some music festivals.
Cool.
In Wales, world music festivals, where we'd see, some bands play, and there'd be like workshops, like drumming workshops and stuff, which I used to try and get involved in.
Cool.
So yeah, I guess they were the kind of first influences on music.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, I guess it's interesting because it's quite reflective in the styles that you play and are pushing now.
Except for Meatloaf.
Except for me. I don't know. Was there a freedom of movement at the end of the night? Actually, the next freedom of movement, I request
Meatloaf.
I request Meatloaf.
That's fine. I have been thinking of putting it back in, actually, in the sets.
Please do, because I'll go mad.
Okay.
Do you play the drums by any chance as well?
I used to. It's something that I really want to try and get back into.
Yeah.
As we were chatting about before we went on the mic, when I moved to Cyprus when I was a bit younger, I had to sell my drum kit. Oh. And so I played a little bit when I was at school out there, but I didn't have a kit at home. That's my excuse anyway, and that's kind of where it stopped. But I really do want to start again when I can cough up the cash to get a kit again. Yeah,
for sure. You can sell probably about 3 records nowadays on Discogs, and you'd have enough money for a drum kit.
Exactly.
I mean, I played a few instruments in my time myself, and I think when you're practicing a lot, I think it kind of gives you quite a lot of discipline in both that, and in your general functioning life. Would you kind of agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think it's really healthy to practice an instrument.
Yeah.
And I think if you're interested in music, then it's a great way to explore your musicality.
For sure.
Without sounding too pretentious about it. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. So let's fast forward a little bit. Where did the taste for electronic music creep in to your life? I know you push like funk and disco, but you've got a lot of housey sort of influences in there as well in your DJ sets.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of where that kind of stemmed from. I guess I'd listen to some music that my parents introduced me to. Stuff like Brian Eno.
Cool.
Yeah, music for airports. I think was introduced to me when I was a bit younger, and then I'm just trying to think from there. I mean, I started to really listen to house music when I started going out in Birmingham, which was going to places like the Bull's Head in Moseley, which was owned by the Hare and Hounds before, and the Hare and Hounds itself. And we used to go to this club night called Lelu, which a friend of mine used to run. And it was there that I guess I was really introduced to house music. And I think that was a really good time for house music. That was around, I think that was around like 2012, 2013, when house music started to really come back again into the mainstream. And yeah, I fell in love with it from then.
Yeah, it's kind of a good time to get into it, because you could get exposed to a lot of different new house music, which had been there. You know, had been there, especially like the funky house, maybe 5 or 6 years earlier, and the harder house.
Yeah.
Then you think you're exposed to much like groovier sounds that were more subtle.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure, you know, obviously there's the more commercial beats, but you had those subtle grooves in there as well that had more influences than just the mainstream.
Definitely. I mean, I guess it was more kind of mainstream house music that I was listening to at the time. I mean, people like Elefino, and people like, I'm just trying to remember who there was. Eats Everything.
Yeah, MK. I know we sort of came back, didn't he, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, I was pretty gutted to find out, actually, like a year after that, when I found Theo Parrish, that he had played at the Hare and Hounds, like I guess like maybe half a year before I really started to get into that music.
Don't tell me about this sort of stuff. It's horrible when you get into an artist just after he's played like the smaller gigs and played in your hometown. Oh, it's the worst.
Absolutely wounded to find out about that. And then, God, I really hope that those guys bring him back. But that was quite upsetting to find out that he played at the Hare and Hounds and I missed it. And also, I guess, like Medicine Bar, that was before my time, I guess.
Yeah.
And that was when I was living abroad. I guess even if I was living in the UK, I was probably a bit too young for it. But to have heard about all those artists that played at Medicine Bar back in the day, and even at the Lord Clifton, like there were some incredible artists that used to play there.
And still do.
And still do. But they used to... I understand, speaking to a few people, they used to have like a good budget for bringing like artists to Lord Clifton's courtyard. Trying to remember who they had now. I think they had like Nick the Record and a few other really great DJs. More maybe disco focused, but yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man. And I don't think there's ever anything wrong with being into commercial stuff, because that's kind of a reflection of what's kind of been driving music to the forefront, and that is what kind of commercial is, I guess. It's like a reflection of what everyone likes, and often it's a way in to a genre of music as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
deeper. Definitely. I mean, you only dig deep when you start from the top, don't you?
Yeah, that's it.
You're not going to go and listen to some, I don't know, Sun Ra or something, weird, like avant-garde jazz music straight away. At least, I mean, I didn't.
Yeah.
I think you're going to start somewhere else that's a little more accessible. And I guess that was the same with house music, really, electronic music.
Yeah, definitely.
Start somewhere.
I think that's a general tastemaker arc of most of your life. You start off with the most cheesiest stuff imagined when you're a kid, and then you can kind of get tired of that very quickly as you get older, and then it's like, I want to find the more subtle tracks that make me feel something, I guess.
Of course.
So, what brought you to DJing then through all this musical growth you had?
I guess I probably felt like there was a bit of a void when I stopped drumming. And
Right.
one of my good friends, Niall, he had a set of turntables. And so he was DJing, and he was DJing at that night that we spoke of, Lalou. And I was like, I really want to, I want to have a go at this. I want to try it. And we started DJing on some crappy program on the laptop in my mum's conservatory one summer with a pair of really crap speakers as well.
Sounds like a great club night. My mum's conservatory.
And obviously we all thought that we were amazing. This bunch of friends that we were in there most nights when she was away, of course.
Yeah.
We used to just kind of practice on there and just trying to put various tracks together. It's pretty simple at the time. Humble beginnings, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
But so that was the start really, and then I got more and more into it. I really enjoyed doing it, and I guess that's when I started to look to buy my first set of turntables.
Yeah, and were these vinyl turntables?
Yeah. So luckily there was a guy that I knew, and he moved to America, and I think he just needed a bit of money, and he advertised that he was selling his Technics 1210s, and I managed to get a couple for a bargain. So I was very lucky to get a foot in the door, I guess, early on. So yeah, and then that's ever since then I've just been absolutely skint.
Yeah, it's a life that drains your money through records.
It does indeed.
So, where did you first perform to an audience then? Where did this come along?
I guess that it was at the music night that I used to run with my friend Niall, called Cash.
Cool.
And that was at the Bull's Head. And so it was like an electronic music night, mostly kind of techno focused. And I think I played, I don't know, like the first set or something.
Yeah.
This one time, and that was the first step really.
And everything went smoothly.
Downhill.
Uphill.
I don't know.
Amazing. So, we're sat in Café Artum.
We are.
How do we get to this point? And why did you think Birmingham needed this space?
So I guess it goes back to the Cash Night as well. So Jason Winters, who is my business partner of Café Artum, he was also a resident DJ at Cash. And we just got chatting about our frustrations of having to go down to Manchester and London to buy records, or just spending a fortune on postage for records and buying them on Discogs. And we were basically saying how ridiculous it was that being the second city, we had no record shops. I think that the Music Exchange, which was by TK Maxx, I think that had just closed down. So there literally wasn't anything for like electronic music. There was the Discovery and Swordfish, and I think that was it. But for electronic music, there really wasn't very much. And so I just think we saw a gap in the market. Yeah. And at that time, vinyl continued to be coming back. So I think we just wanted to jump on that, really.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I think you made a real success of this place as well.
Thank you.
I think it's just good as a creative hub as well. I don't know if you see it that way, but I especially see it as that sort of place. I've come to meet DJ Trieste here a few times for coffee. I've met you.
Sometimes he's lucky enough to grace us.
Yeah, and actually purchase a copy.
Yeah. The odd occasion.
I've seen him just use the Wi-Fi.
That's true. No. We might have to edit that out, or he's going to be really upset.
No, he's not. It's his birthday soon, so happy birthday to him.
We should definitely keep that in.
He gets a happy birthday, it's fine.
That's true.
Met yourself. I get to test out some wicked records and spend all my money in here as well, which is a good thing because I get some amazing records. And you put on some wicked events as well. You know, you're really utilising the space and offering as much as you can to the community of electronic music or just people who are interested in music in general here. So you had the Wine Freedom Nights, which I hear there's going to be more of.
Yeah, so we had the first one earlier this month, a couple of weeks ago actually, and that's with these guys who run a brand called Wine Freedom, and they're soon to be opening, hopefully, a natural wine bar. Well, not just natural wine, just a wine bar in Digbeth. I think the plans for that are a little under wraps, so I can't speak too much about it.
No.
But they're doing pop-ups all over Birmingham, and we were lucky enough to host them for one evening. So they were selling wines, like lots of different wines, and we were playing music and records with a couple of, I guess, residents for the shop, and it was really, really good. It was a really brilliant night. One of my favourite ones, actually, since we started. So
I bet.
We're going to do, there was a lot of wine.
Yeah, you had me at wine. But yeah.
That's true. So, well, hopefully we're going to do a few more. I say a few more. Hopefully we're going to do one every day.
Yeah, every day. Every day's a wine day.
Yeah.
At Café Artum.
Yeah, but I think there should be one in October. We're looking kind of like halfway through the month, so...
Oh, amazing. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. I missed the last one as well, which I'm really good about. So I'm definitely coming to this one.
Definitely.
And you've got a few other things going on. This week we're recording. So we're recording on the 24th of September, but I think this is going to go out next week. But you have the selected DJ workshops, which is for female and non-binary only, just to get some sort of experience and training with DJing. I mean, you can talk a bit about what this is.
Yeah, so I can only speak so much about it because it's Holly's event.
Yeah.
Holly, who works in a shop, and I'm actually banned from the event because I'm a male.
Yeah.
So I'm not really allowed to be present at the events. But it's a really, really brilliant concept, and Holly's doing an amazing job. And they've just had a nudes radio show last night for Select Hood, and last weekend they had an amazing event with Jada G, Ruby Savage, and Eclair Fifi. And they're just doing really good things for the female and non-binary DJ community, because they're so underrepresented in Birmingham. I mean, in the UK, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
Or just in DJing in general. So, they're doing a cracking job, and they run a DJ workshop. I think it's at least kind of once a month, maybe more, and they have like drop-in sessions, and they've just launched a membership as well. And it's all in Café Artum, and you can come along and have a go on turntables or CDJs or a controller, whichever you feel most comfortable on, and you don't have to have any experience. You just turn up, and I think it's a nice community that they've got going.
That's really, really cool.
And some really good DJs as well.
Yeah, I hope finding some cool talent there as well.
Yeah,
bring on some
definitely.
shows.
I know some of them have already started to find themselves on some quite big lineups.
Superb.
So that's really good, and I think that's one of the things that kind of a group, that organisation offers. For kind of young budding DJs to have a chance to find themselves on some good lineups in the city, which they should be on anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
It gives them that platform. It's
brilliant, man. I think we are seeing less male-dominated lineups now, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a sausage fest for many years.
Yes.
It's just nice
one
to have
likes a sausage fest.
someone else in the building to talk to.
Yeah.
I think like times are changing quite largely. DJing like 10 years ago was very different to what it is now, and it's changed for the better.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely.
And things like Selected are only going to help and make it a better place for everyone.
Big up to Holly for that one.
Yeah, big up to Holly. Amazing. Well, you kind of mentioned Nudes Radio, and I've listened to some of your shows on there, and they're wicked, man. Like real, like down tempo, funk, sort of soul vibes that you're pushing. Is this the sort of mainstay of your DJ world?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean that's the kind of stuff that I buy the most records for.
Yeah.
I think that I got a little bit tiresome of techno music, and especially in Birmingham as well. I was finding that I don't know there were a lot of similar nights, similar lineup, similar just techno all night long, and I think that kind of pushed me away from it a little bit. And also, I think maybe it was just my taste in music just changing and growing, as it does with everyone. So I started listening to, I guess, more kind of like jazz funk and jazz fusion and a lot more Latin stuff. I mean, when I started listening to Brazilian music, it just completely blew me away and changed my perspective on music as a whole.
That's so cool.
So, yeah.
It's cool to listen to something that completely change your mind and perspective on it, especially what you're playing as a DJ. I think just generally as a creative, it's nice to like reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
In any aspect, whether it's like you're recording an album or something, or you're DJing, or you're drawing, or you're painting. I think it's really cool to see that evolution in anyone who's an artist.
Definitely, and we were lucky enough to host Sassy J and K15 for a launch party a year ago for Café Artum, which we did at Spotlight, and they went back to back, and it's still to this day one of the best things I've witnessed.
Yeah.
It was just incredible, and I was just completely in awe of how they could play like electronic music and like house tracks to broken beat, and then switched it up to Brazilian music, and it was just completely flawless. And that, like I said, like that just kind of changed my perspective on things, and made me realise that I didn't, you don't just have to stick to one genre, and it's so much more interesting if you try and kind of move it around a bit. And I guess people like Hooney as well, prime examples of people who can do that. And yeah.
Someone else who's played at Hare and Hounds not too long ago.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Who I already wanted to see, but didn't.
Yeah, I didn't get to see him either.
Yeah, you're in the same boat.
Yeah.
I think I'm in a similar place as you. Maybe whereas you get kind of tired after a while of listening to things, and then you're like, I want to play what I like. This track sounds good. This track sounds good. Let's try and make this work together in a set. I produce a lot of music as well, so I think maybe I have to sort of pull myself out of a mindset of making a track, and maybe making a certain track. It's sort of tends to stick to a certain genre, but with DJing, you can do whatever you want. Same as producing, but once you're in the song, you're in that song. So kind of a similar sort of state, I think, in my head. It's just almost like a rebellion of your thoughts. You're like, no, go and play this instead. This sounds more fun. You're like, this is wicked.
I think I think saying that though, I've started to listen to more techno music again. I guess from working in the shop.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very lucky to work with two very good DJs, Jason and Adam Shelton, and together they curate mostly the kind of like house and techno side of the records, and so I'm exposed to some really excellent music, which is really good, which has also kind of reinvigorated my interest in it. So yeah,
I think that's probably like a very big point, advice maybe, and just general tips is like expose yourself to music, not to anyone else.
Yeah.
Just expose yourself to lots of music and
definitely
as much art as possible, because it's going to give you just a wider, like a wider range of interests. And
absolutely. I think I'm also very lucky in that I get to play music in the shop all day, and I use NTS radio quite a lot,
cool,
as well as Nudes radio.
Yeah.
And I just kind of stick those on, and I think they're brilliant ways for you to find out new music and new artists. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, superb. Yeah, anyone who's doing work at uni or work in the office,
get these radios on, expose yourself to some new music,
Yeah,
open your
definitely.
mind.
I think, YouTube is a brilliant platform for that as
Yeah.
well.
You can leave it playing as well, can't you? And just keeps going through.
Absolutely. It's arguably a lot easier to find great music now.
Yeah.
Than it used to. I guess before the days of the internet, you had to really go digging in a record shop to find anything, or listen to like a radio, FM radio or something. But now we have like YouTube with these crazy algorithms where they're suggesting music that you might be into, a bit like Spotify. And yeah, it's an incredible time to be into music and to find new stuff. It's made stuff that would never have been accessible.
Yeah.
So
I think that's that can be like a sweeping generalization of musical taste. It's so wide now. You see a reduction in sort of like subcultures, especially in the way people dress. When I was maybe 9, I might be dressed all in black, like Korn t-shirt on, thinking, I am a goth, I am this way. But
now you wear like a brown cord jacket with baggy jeans.
Yeah.
I'm joking, he's not wearing that.
I'm wearing a plain white tee, man. I'm so in the middle. I'm so middle ground.
Looks pretty sweet, actually.
Oh, thank you very much. It's only us two in the room. It's really nice. But yeah, I don't know. I think maybe people's minds are more open, or society is more open in general. But I'm just sort of getting into sweeping generalizations here.
It's fine, man. There's nothing wrong with sweeping generalizations.
Yeah, but in a good way. It's all in a good way.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit more about your DJing. Let's talk about some of these other nights you run, because I went to one a couple of weeks ago, Freedom of Movement, which is a really cool concept. I love that. Free party, if anyone's interested.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit more.
So basically, I guess it stems from what we were talking about before, the desire to put on a night that showcases lots of different music. Not just like a house music night or techno night or a tech house night. With Freedom of Movement, we basically just get to weave lots of different music together. It's a night that's run by myself, Christian, aka Trieste UK, and Matt Goose. So we've been running it for what is, I think it's coming up to a year now, which is quite crazy to think. And we do it in the attic, or the upstairs, should I say, of the Dark Horse in Moseley. And it's really nice. And we've had a really good response so far. The room's always full, so that's really positive. And it's just really nice to see people enjoying music like we do.
Oh yeah, I think you've created a really nice atmosphere for those nights as well. It's not.
That's probably because Goose Sensei gets the what's it called? Oh my god, what am I trying to say? Might have to edit this bit out.
Okay.
When you light it and it's the smelly shit.
Oh, the incense.
Incense.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Sorry, I just couldn't think of it.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. There was incense going on.
Incense definitely helps a night.
Yeah, you can't help but be relaxed.
You have an absolutely empty dance floor. You whack out the incense, and it will just fill instantly.
Magic.
It's one of Matt's magic tricks.
Oh, it's great. But it's nice to go to an event that is so. It feels really friendly. Like you feel part of it when you're there as a bit of a family. And I think sometimes some of the events you go to are a little, obviously some of the bigger warehouse events, it's going to be a bit more daunting. But sometimes these events they're a bit more offensive. You feel a bit like trapped and a bit scared by it. And
I just feel like there's a place for everything.
Yeah.
And I think in Birmingham, we used to have lots of cool, like little small club nights, but they gradually died off, I guess, as a lot of the small venues closed as well. But we're just trying to promote that again.
Yeah.
It's going really well.
Yeah, bringing something that adding to this community of club nights. Yeah. Yeah. We've got a bigger range to attend now.
Yeah.
And hopefully everyone can help each other out.
Yeah, and it's free as well.
Yeah,
so
it's free as well.
what's to lose?
And you bring Café Artum to DDC quite regularly as well.
Yeah, so I mean, all of us that work here play at Digbeth Dining Club, and we do a takeover, which is now once a month. So a few of us go over to play for the day. It's like an 8-hour slot, so that's really nice. We get to play all sorts of stuff. That's really enjoyable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a great place to play as well. And those guys are super hospitable. So yeah.
Yeah, and great food. So
Well, that definitely helps.
Great
the food
food,
is
great music,
amazing.
great drinks.
There's drinks, and we get to play records. So
Yeah.
can't ask for any more than that, really.
yeah, again, perfect atmosphere, isn't it? Real cool tunes. It's a really good way to unwind.
Yeah.
And leading on to possibly a bigger night if you're.
Definitely, I think
that
we're really
bigger.
lucky to have a place like Digbeth Dining Club actually.
Yeah.
And they've also supported a lot of aspiring DJs as well as Selecthood as well. They've got some of the girls from that playing there, so yeah, it's really good.
Really cool. So what's sort of next for yourself as a DJ? Are there any few gigs coming up that people can catch you at, or in the wider international range?
Yeah, I've got some interesting bits coming up. I'm going to Paris the beginning of October. I'll be playing at Le Mellotron, which is a cool little bar/radio. I know that Worldwide FM have a regular slot that kind of broadcasts from there. They've had some really amazing artists play, so it's quite daunting. I'm really looking forward to playing there.
Yeah.
It's all broadcast live as well as a webcam as well, which is the
just
scariest
to
bit
add
for
the
me,
pressure.
because
Yeah.
I don't mind talking a little bit, but when the camera's also on me, I find that a bit scary. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And then the following day, I've got a slot on Rinse FM. So
That's so cool.
yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm going with one of my best buds, Josh,
Wicked.
and we're going to do some digging. There's some really amazing records to be found in Paris. So yeah, I think we're going to hook up with the guys who run Diggers Digest.
Wicked.
If you're into Afro music, then check those guys out. They've got an online shop. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
So cool. That's very impressive as well. International DJ. That's what you can say now.
Christy, UK.
Christy UK. Mr. Worldwide over here. And I guess what's the next 12 months look like for art, and what's the future look like?
That's a good question. Who knows? We'll be branching out. We'll be selling jewellery.
Oh, really? In the jewellery show? Well, I mean, you're in the perfect city to do it.
Yeah. We're very close to the gun quarter, actually, aren't we? I think we should maybe bring that back. Start dealing in arms, could become an arms dealer.
Right, very different to what I thought you were going to say. Yeah,
I guess I could have gone down the whole weapons, like music, blah, blah, blah.
weapons.
but
Yeah, that's
that
cool.
would
Yeah,
probably
that's
be
cool.
a bit better, but never mind. No, we're just, we're constantly evolving. We're constantly building up our collection of records. So I guess that's a focus.
Yeah.
Just, finding more and more stuff. Trips like the one to Paris is going to be great, because I'm, hopefully going to bring back some really nice music for the shop. So that's really positive. There's some plans, hopefully, to visit America. Not too sure when that's going to be, but there's a lot of brilliant music out there that we can, ship back.
Yeah.
Some great US disco, and there's a lot of great techno that
I'll
can
be
be found
first
in
in
a
line.
bargain bin. So yeah, hopefully bring some of that back. Other stuff, I guess, is just like focusing on our events in the shop. We recently got our alcohol license, which has been a big thing for us. It also means that we can put events on more regularly. So we want to try and have like a jam-packed events calendar, really.
Yeah.
With local DJs playing in the shop. We want to do a listening session for records that we'll have in, like on an evening, we'll play an album in its entirety. We've got lots of brilliant events going on at the moment. We've got Mystic Brew, which is like a hip hop night that we've got here, and that's really good. That's supporting Birmingham's underground hip hop community. It's something that I really didn't know very much about before, but it's just been eye opening seeing how much talent there is in Birmingham. Honestly, it's just incredible. So we've got stuff like that. So yeah, I guess that's it really.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Last question.
Okay.
Is there any advice, the best piece of advice you could give for any aspiring DJs, record store owners, small business owners?
Don't do it.
No. This is everyone said this.
No. I guess for DJs, I guess just open your ears to everything.
Yeah.
Don't just focus in on one sound. Just like what we've been talking about. I think it's a really good thing to try and listen to as much stuff as you can. Even if you're just more into techno music or whatever, I think it's just really good to listen to other stuff.
Yeah.
Because it will keep you refreshed as well, and more open-minded when it comes to buying records and playing music. I think also, it's also a really hard game to get into, and it's super, super competitive now.
Yeah.
So, it's as challenging as ever, but I think if you push hard enough, then, it can be really good fun.
Yeah.
And, starting a night with your friends is a great way to do it, because, you'll have a lot of fun and you play the records that you want to play. So that's a good way to go. When it comes to record shops, I guess we're still in our infancy. I'm still, learning so much every day, so I don't have an awful lot of advice. But I guess the biggest thing is just making sure that you are refreshing the stock of your records. It's one thing opening with a shop full of really brilliant records, which I think is what we did, and then you'll find that a lot of that stuff just flies out, and you need to have stuff ready to replenish the shelves, because otherwise people are going to get a bit bored. So you just have to be super prepared for that, and ready to find new records. It takes a lot of time to do that.
I was going to say, it's probably not something that's as easy as clicking yes on Amazon or something. I want this tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I think more and more people are wanting good used records.
Yeah.
Like old house records. Old, like Chicago house records. In big demand. Stuff like that. So people are really interested in new releases, but you need a good steady flow of used stuff, which is often quite hard to find. There's only so many people in your area that are willing to sell their collections to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to keep lost for words then.
Keep on top of it.
You have to keep on top of it.
Keep on top of it. Oh man, well, it's been so insightful talking to you. The first business owner and record shop owner we've had on this podcast, and I'm sure everyone is going to be really interested in what you have to say, from an outsider's point of view, because not everyone owns their own record store, which is an achievement itself.
No, thank you very much.
It really is, and I love what you're doing here. I can only say congratulations so far, and then keep going, man, because it's very impressive.
Cheers, man. I really appreciate that.
And,
it's very
love
kind.
all the DJ sets as well.
Thank you.
I'll be watching.
At least I have one person.
Thanks to Christy Lakeman.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was brilliant to have a chat with Christy Lakeman, and I hope you all enjoyed that as much as I did. Now go out there and start collecting loads of records. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast and rate 5 stars. You can find us on our socials at Beat Brings Us, or alternatively, you can drop us an email at beatbringsustogether@gmail.com. Please send in any questions you'd like me to ask future guests or any feedback you have. I'd love to hear it. Thanks, and until next time, you've been listening to Beat Brings Us Together podcast with me, Luke Hassan.